Đề nghị chúng ta đổ một tràng pháo tay thật giòn giã để cổ vũ cho bạn.
So, well, today first, good morning and hello everyone. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year too. So today in my speaking today, I'd like to talk about a topic that everyone in here all knows. So first, I'd like to ask you a question. What is the meaning of this paper? Can someone answer? Maybe no one knows what is the meaning of this paper, but well, I will explain for you. This paper is using for the looking the keyword for me when every time I forget something related to my speaking. So today I'd like to talk about one of the topic, orange and comment running the young people and the old generation. First, I'd like to say about the smartphone. So I have a question, and is there anyone in here using the smartphone? Please raise your hand. Yes, I see in here a lot of hand raising. So I guess almost people or almost students in here are using smartphone to do for the study purpose or to do the entertaining purpose. Every time you use the smartphone, you will see and look at the screen. And you know there's a truth. According to WHO, when you look at the screen, it can be affect from 19 to 95 to your eye seeing. So now I'd like to talk about the topic that the school should be banned and should allow for the students to using the smartphone running their studying. So first I'd like to say one of my friends here is playing smartphone. Same like everyone in here, I like to spend amount of time to look at my screen, to chat with my friends on the Facebook or on the Twitter every day, every time when I have a free time. After I have finished school, I often use smartphone to calling for my friends, to chatting with them. Well, it's helped me a lot in how I can get lean, how I can keep fit, and it's also helped me a lot in wondering for me playing or hanging out with my friends, and it's also helped me a lot in how I can blow some steam and how I can let my hair down too. Well, as you know, there's a lot of apps on the smartphone, and almost people in here using smartphone every day for their daily life purpose. And I'd like to say that smartphone become ubiquitous and all the range among the young people and the old people. In each kind of generation, they have the another purpose for using. So let's talk about the young people. So young people is all the students in here. As you know, perhaps you know, everyone in here using the smartphone for the entertainment purpose and on the study purpose too. We often use the smartphone to searching the information on online or searching on the information on the Googles. And for the editing purpose, we are installing a lot of apps to playing or with chatting with friends, which can help with us to clue a lot with each other. And for the old generation, I like to say that the old people using the smartphone for the other purpose have another purpose with the young generation in nowadays. Well, I'd like to say that the old people use the smartphones to read the newspaper or doing it for their daily life, such as like calling, not only because of it convenient and fast, but also it is a tool for them as a technology to glue them with each other and make them feel less lonely when they have no one to make a friends. So now I'd like to say about one of my experiments, and I'd like to talk about its perks, about the perks of using technology and smartphone, and I think some of it disadvantages. So first let's talk about its perks. So as I mentioned, we cannot deny the perks that they bring a lot for us. So all of each had its own perks, but in reality taught me to these advantages. First, I'd like to say, well, I'd like to telling you a lot of perks that I have mentioned, but sometimes there's still some drawbacks that we need to avoid. First thing, it can help us to avoid the exercise or hit the gyms, and it help us to have more selections in the food. Why we cannot choose the junk food? We can use a lot of whole foods as suitable choices. Well, as I mentioned, it can be attributed to the herbal reasons or the student in nowadays using the smartphones. But I think the main reasons for them is they're using smartphones for the entertaining purpose. And now, come back to the day when I was a child, me and my best friends, we are using the smartphone. I think it's daily. Yeah, it's daily. Me and him are searching for a famous restaurant, a well-known restaurant in the Tuan city, and I and him go to that restaurant and enjoy the food. And at that time, we feel like this world is phenomenal. Nothing to say it because because it's one of the perks of the technology that you have to know when you're using the smartphones. Now, come back to the main topic. I'd like to say the main reason for this using device, why the school might distract them from learning. So there is the main disadvantages. For instance, instead of paying attention to the teacher, student may be looking at the Instagram or the Twitters. In addition, having cell phones may be available to be used at any time might encourage students to cheat on the test while they don't not to know the answer and even share with their colleagues recent resolution for exams, thus negatively influence for their learning process. Now I'd like to talk about its perks when the school or the headers or the principal of the school should allow for any student to using the smartphone. First, I'd like to say, in spite of this consideration, this is also possible to make the opposing case. It's agreed that cell phones are tools that can be help students and teacher in emergency appears. People have this opinion because they are worried about their children. With the phones available, parents are able to connect with them. And in too late, many shooting attempts in the school were controlled. The students were able to call immediately the police. Moreover, I'd like to say all classes had a lot of students with only one teacher in the level of education in nowadays. Sometimes it's have a quick check on internet might be bring the answer for a small question during the class. I'd like to say my presentation or my speaking today are really special. Why? First of all, I'd like to say this one, as I asking you before, this is a paper. It's not ordinary paper. This is a paper where including the keyword for me for looking every time I forget the meaning or forget the main contents of my speaking test. It's not same like the other friends, my other friends, where they are confident, they are talk without paper. I think it's correct because they have already remembered it. But for my instance, I don't have a good memory, so to remember all of this is a difficult task for me. So in my speaking test today, I would like to using this paper with the keyword design. And in conclusion, I would like to say I'd like to spend the best wishes for all the students and for all the teachers in this my speaking test today. And thank you for listening.